top of the depth chart. Has he been cleared? And
yeah, I wrote that on Sunday. So, he practiced Sunday, and like I said, everything's clearly cloudy right now. That's kind of our forecast, our weather forecast. We finally got to practice in rain. I'll throw that in yesterday. It's the first time it rained without lightning threats. And I think, our radius must be about 80 miles. But anyway, so yeah, we got to work in the rain. But yeah, it clearly is cloudy right now. Everything is. So we'll just take it day by day and see who can go.
John Steffi, the Gazette. I don't have an answer on 12 o'clock or 12:01 either.
Okay.
But with quarterback, it sounds like this week and next week are no-go for Brendan. Do you see there being any possibility of him playing in the bowl game? And then also with Marco, how much has he been able to really work in practice?
He started back. That's the good news. And then, somebody told me yesterday that, Brendan had been pronounced done for the season, which I chuckled because at that point it was a 12-day season. So, talk about headlines, I guess. You're trying to grab attention. Not that you guys write the headlines, I understand that. But, yeah, he's out this week. We'll see what next week brings. I'm not optimistic, but I assume the bowl game. But, it's nothing's broken, so hopefully we get him back.
Chad likes to code in register. Obviously, you knew this day would come once Brian lined up with Maryland. Curious, number one, whatever you can speak to how his experience has been there, and also just sort of, you've coached against a lot of former, a lot of friends, a lot of former coaches, but never family. So what are your emotions going into?
Exactly. It's first time for a lot of things, and it's life. But so I haven't given a lot of thought, quite frankly, and obviously I knew it was coming. But the bottom line is this: to your point, it's the best I can come up with. What is weird coming back here, and whether it be Barry Alvarez, I guess the first year, Bill Snyder the year two, Dan McCarney, Bob Stoops, 4 guys that I worked with, and Bob played for us on top of it. Tremendous respect for all those guys, and it's a weird dynamic. But the bottom line is this: the reality is when you get to game day, that's what's silly about coaches exchanging greetings and all that. I fully know what the other coach wants to do, and just like he knows what I want to do and how we hope the day goes. So, it's really probably not a great time for a family reunion or just even, seeing old friends. And, everybody's cordial, but, the bottom line is we all got business to take care of on Saturday. And then we'll just see where it all goes. But I think his experience has been good, everything I know about it. And I'm just, as a parent, I'm glad he's with good people. And Mike's a guy I've got a lot of respect for.
Tyler Tashman with the Des Moines Register. With everything Cade's been through, the 2 season-ending injuries, then this injury, how do you get a sense for just how he is mentally at this point? Of how is he doing? How is he able to kind of just process things? And
you've heard me say multiple times that the worst thing in coaching, from my experience, is guys dealing with injuries. And usually it's not to this extreme. Usually you're talking about, maybe a couple weeks, and that's disappointing, or sometimes season ending, which is disappointing. To have a stack of them, it's just, there's nothing you can say. And all you can do is try to support the people involved. It's really hard. It's really hard. And again, especially with a collegiate athlete at this level, which I'd never played at, the investment they make, the amount of time, energy, all the things that they dedicate, to having a chance to get out there and compete and to not have that come. And it's nobody's fault. It's just what it is. It's part of the game, unfortunately. And it's hard. So all you can do is try to support them. And also, I think, support the message, which goes back to, our first program goals for every guy to graduate. And if you look at all of our propaganda, if you will, our mantras, whatever it may be, philosophy, there's nothing about playing in the NFL, just nothing, because that's a byproduct of being a really good player, and it means you got the right genetics, and you really did a great job with all this stuff, that opportunity that came your way, and it's still such a small percentage, and then the odds that stand. So that's not part of our program deal. It's about graduating, being a good person, and hopefully having a great experience during the program. But it's hard to say, boy, my experience is great when I missed this game, that game, this game. It's just a hard part, but it's a reality of what we do. So long-winded answer, but we're just trying to support them in every way, just like we are with anybody that's dealing with injuries, because it's hard and it's really lonely too. It's a lonely place to be.
Just real quick, I wanted to clear up the QB depth chart, because I was surprised to hear that Marco's back. So would Marco go into that backup spot, or would he be behind Jackson?
No, Jackson's gonna. I assume Jackson's gonna start. I think we'll start the way we finished. It's probably the best way I can put it.
With Jackson starting?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, he's finished, right? Out in California. So that's kind of where I sit, yeah, absolutely. And then we'll see who's, who can do what. But, yeah, if we were playing tomorrow, that's how that would be.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, we expect, I think, everybody else has a chance outside of Brendan.
Gotcha.
He for sure is not playing this week.
Okay.
Yep.
My actual question may not even have much of an answer to it, but
Okay.
in the season, maybe you like that. With a season like this where you've had so many injuries and where, injuries have just piled up at so many key positions for you, is there anything as a coaching staff or as a staff as a whole to be learned or gleaned in terms of training practices, anything like that? Or when you have a string of all these injuries, is it just purely bad luck, misfortune, and that's all there is to it?
Yeah, I don't know that we've had extreme amount, but when they all hit one position, and 04 is our running back spot, we just got decimated there. And there was nothing scientific about it. It's just, like each injury is typically its own story, just kind of like each game and each season is its own story. But when they do hit one position, which at times they do, it magnifies things a little bit. Certainly our quarterback position's been affected. So, you just deal with that. But, part of our annual process and even like weekly process, but more so annual process, you look at every segment of the program, are we doing something? And, we're really, I was going to say training the same as we were in 02, but probably not as hard, and we don't practice as long and as we did back then. We had more players back then, but basically the program's been pretty similar to 26 years now, and the way we go about things. And I bring up 02 only in the sense that was the one rare year where we had very little problems with injuries. I know we had a cornerback bump there somewhere in the way, but outside of that, it's pretty much the same guy started every week. And it's when you can get into that group, that's a good thing. It really helps your chances of being successful. But that's not the reality. Usually, you got to deal with things week to week, and the teams that can handle that, the best are the ones that are going to be successful. And that's something we talk to our guys about every August. Like, you never know what the bumps are going to be during the course of the year. Injuries always play into that. Who can handle it the best?
Chad, that's a clear game. Okay. Your last answer confused me a little bit in the quarter.
I'll go back to clearly cloudy. I like that phrase.
Well,
That's how we feel.
you said Jackson would start, but Cade's on the depth chart. Are you saying Jackson? Do you know who's
If we were playing right now, it'd be Jackson. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what I'll know on Friday. You probably won't, but I will. What's gonna take place?
So,
yeah.
We talked to Tim Lester last week, and he said, "Would you feel comfortable?" He's like, "I don't know about Jackson." So
Right.
how much better has he gotten?
Learn to love him.
How much?
We went through the same thing last year.
How much more comfortable are you maybe now than you were a week ago?
Well, a hell of a lot more comfortable. It's like, if you knew what we knew about the last time, just because of the lack of, and I'm not saying this in a negative way towards Jackson at all. Just what I can tell you is like, I hate that phrase too. I apologize for saying what I can tell you. But what I will say is this, okay, he hadn't gotten any reps. Once we started, doing game prep, two guys get the reps, and that was, obviously first two guys. So even Marco was watching, he's holding a clipboard and watching, and Jackson was working the scout team. So I thought, he did some really good things out in that last ball game. Jackson did, and he's got talent. He can throw the football. You guys saw that. So now it's a matter of, thank goodness we had a bye week and we got a chance to get him more comfortable in school. And if he ends up being our guy, we'll try to put a plan together. Features what he can do and keep him out of the danger areas maybe, and not have him doing calculus problems out there if he's not ready for that. But we went through this. If there's good news, we went through the same exercise a year ago, and came out of it okay. So you just deal with the cards that are dealt you, and you just kind of play them accordingly. And in this case, we're not sure what it's going to look like, but we'll know as the week goes on. Yep.
Hey Kirk, Elliot Clough, Hawkeye Beach, and to ask a little bit more about Jackson. To quote you said you're a hell of a lot more comfortable this time around than you were against UCLA. What makes you more comfortable? What has he shown?
Well, I've never seen him in the game. Start there, and that's only because he's never been in the game. I was actually teasing him this morning about that, because he is, I think, our only, TJ Hall kind of is Californian, right? Fresno. That's California, but it's more Midwest. It's not like, California we all think about. But Jackson's, the Rose Bowl, grew up with all that stuff. I just tease him about, did you ever think you'd be playing in the Rose Bowl this year? And, he had to admit that was kind of a far-fetched thing, certainly, and I'd never met him till August, when he showed up, so, or late July, whatever it might have been. I'm pointing here because his mom and dad met them here too, so, yeah, I mean, but we've seen him play now. I mean, he was out there, and I thought he did a really admirable job for a guy who's not had a lot of work. I thought he did a good job. He can throw it, seemed composed, and, again, he's got a week to go. So, we'll let it rip. Whoever's in there, we'll let it rip.
Mitch, each KJN is a little off topic, but I wonder if you could just speak about your relationship with Mark Farley as he gets ready to wrap up his
Yeah.
career.